Office and the Mayor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness, Sept, are here in constant communication with the National Weather Service, local municipalities, and state officials. We're closely monitoring the system, which is expected to make landfall on the Louisiana coast. The main threats from this tropical system include heavy rainfall, strong winds that could cause damage, and the possibility of isolated tornadoes. It's crucial that all of us take this storm very seriously and begin our preparations immediately. I urge every resident to take the following steps. Prepare a disaster supply kit. As we always say, make sure you have enough food, water, and essential supplies to last at least 72 hours. Also, make a plan with your household. When this storm starts affecting our area on Wednesday, I want everyone in East Baton Rouge Parish to have a plan to be inside a sturdy structure for the duration of the storm. You should also know where to go if conditions worsen and ensure all family members, including pets, are accounted for in your plans. Finally, please use the buddy system. Check on your neighbors, especially the elderly or those who may need additional assistance to ensure they are also prepared. Our city parish officials and first responders are already taking action. We are clearing storm drains and basins to reduce the risk of flooding and replenishing our stock of sand and sandbags to help residents protect their homes. Sand and sandbags are available at 8 Breck Park locations across the parish, including the fairgrounds on Airline Highway, Memorial Stadium, Hartley Bay Park at Gardier, Alson Park, Cadillac Street Park, Doyle's Bayou Park, Flannery Road Park, and Lovett Road Park. Please remember to bring your own shovels to fill sandbags at these locations. As we continue our preparations, it's important that all of us stay informed. Please monitor local news channels, listen to weather radio, and follow Red Stick Ready on social media for real-time updates and preparedness tips. We are Baton Rouge strong, and by working together, we can ensure that our community is Red Stick ready and resilient in the face of this storm. Please stay safe, take necessary precautions, and look out for one another. Now I'm going to ask Clay Reeves, our Director of the Mayor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness, to give a follow-up update. Clay?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I just want everyone out there, watch your media, watch your news, make informed decisions. Just like the Mayor said, prepare. That's what we're doing today at the city parish level. We have all our first responders here. They're going to tell you a little bit what actions they're going through. We're prepared. We're here to protect the health, safety, and welfare of all of our citizens. We have some of the best first responders in the world. We've done this before. This is really a tune-up run. We're going to have a really long season, so go ahead and prepare today. Don't wait till tomorrow. So I'm going to let Reginald Brumfield, our Director of Department Maintenance, tell you a little bit about what we actually do preparing for storms.
Good morning, everyone. Reginald Brumfield with the Department of Maintenance. We are fully coordinated with Mr. Reeves and Sept. Our emergency procedures have begun. We've been delivering, as Mayor Broom said, we've been delivering sand to the Breck locations. We're prepared for any trees that may go down in the right-of-way, clear that right-of-way. We're prepared for the initial start, the recovery, and the response phase of this emergency. And any needs you have, please contact Sept, and we're fully coordinated and ready to go. Thank you.
Thank you. Fred Rayford, I'm the Transportation and Drainage Director for East Baton Rouge Parish. The good thing I can tell you is that we've done a lot of canal clearing throughout the parish, which is certainly a real benefit to helping water get out of East Baton Rouge Parish. I think that is a very big plus. I rode most of the day yesterday looking at the channels and making sure there wasn't a real problem, just because you never know what this storm event's going to do. But I believe that we're in good basis from that, and we've been and will continue to clean catch basins and also drainage pipe out where we can help facilitate moving water. I was out yesterday afternoon also looking at the lakes, the university lakes. Nobody really knows that, but it does have a real impact on drainage. And we have a new weir system that has been put in, which will be able to help facilitate getting water out of the lakes, which gets more water running through the subdivisions that tie into that lake. So we'll be addressing that also today. I chatted with Mr. Adam Smith, who's the Director of Environmental Services. He will handle the actual lowering of the lake of Capitol Lake Park. I mean, that is a critical infrastructure, particularly dealing with the I-10 curve there. It always goes underwater, and so we're trying to make sure we lower it as much as 2.5 feet that we will probably be dropping it starting today. But from that, we're going to be prepared. I have my traffic signal people ready. We're putting out barricades today. We're pre-installing stations because we want to make sure that if the police department has an opportunity and they see water rising, they can have the barricades put out there. They know what these locations are, so we can help try to address people getting into areas that they probably shouldn't be driving. So, and we also have 3 crews ready for traffic signal maintenance. We also understand that it's probably going to be a little more wind than we anticipated. We certainly can't be out there until it's safe to be able to do the work, but we do have 3 crews that will be responsive to those issues that the public would ask us to look at. From that, I'll pass it on to Chief.
Good morning. Michael Kimball, the Fire Chief for the Baton Rouge Fire Department. The Baton Rouge Fire Department is very well prepared and equipped, along with all the fire protection districts of this parish. We've met through some phone conversations this morning. We'll have our boat teams in place, staffed in case of flooded waters, our structural collapse teams in case of any type of tree falls on the structure or any wind damage. We have the experts on the ground ready to respond to any given emergency across this parish at any given time. So we're very fortunate of the staffing that we have. We'll continue to provide that service throughout this as we do every day, but we're just going to beef up our staff and to have more resources available throughout the next 96 hours or so for this event. Thank you.
Mike Delacola with the Department of Emergency Medical Services. What we're doing right now is we're going over all of our equipment and all of our extra equipment. We're double beefing up some of our units. We'll be adding more units to the road as time approaches. We'll also be beefing up staffs. I'd like to remind everybody in the public that to get your medications filled right now is a good time to get that taken care of. And if you're using portable generators, make sure you use those generators away from your house to keep carbon monoxide from coming into your house. It's one of the biggest safety calls that we go on this time of the year. Everybody, please be safe. Thank you.
TJ Morris, Chief of Police for the Baton Rouge Police Department. First, let me say thank you, Mayor, for your leadership and bringing us all together. Here's Monday, and we're not expecting anything for a couple days, but we're already communicating, getting prepared. For the police department side, I want to remind everybody of the 311 number for non-emergencies, for flooding, for trees down, those kind of things. We want to keep the 911 lines as free as possible. So use 311 when relevant and not call 911. We are going to have extra staff out there. We're looking and monitoring the storm, waiting to make decisions. We already have things in plan, things prepared and in place if we need to bring people in on their days off, shift detectives and other administration officers to the streets to block roadways or work floods, just depending on what the weather does. Just also reminders, if we do have electricity outages, those treat all those intersections as 4-way stops. If those lights go out, and just if you don't need to be on the road, stay off of the road. Watch out for that high water. Leave room for our emergency personnel to be out there and not having to come and rescue you when we have other obligations to go do as well. Thank you all very much. Mayor?
Well, as you can see, we're being proactive. We are prepared, and we want our community to be safe during this potential weather event. This is not the first time that we have been here at Sept to discuss a major weather event, and we have shown time and time again that when we have fluid communication, when we are prepared, then we are certainly resilient moving forward through these issues. So please keep the lines of communication open, and we will continue to give you updates over the next 2 days. Any questions from anyone? Yes.
Obviously, people in Baton Rouge are concerned about flooding. Can you elaborate a little bit about what exactly has been done with the tributaries and rivers and how much debris has been pulled out of there? I know we've been covering it, but can you maybe tell the people, maybe ease their fears a little bit?
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I think the Tributaries project, which is the funding that we have for $250 million from the Corps, we have completed the actual work on Bayou Fountain. That's from PQ to all the way to Bayou Manchac. We've also figured one Wards Creek, which has just been recently completed from PQ Lane all the way to Bayou Manchac. We finished up the project with Bayou Manchac, which is the outfall for most of our major channels that run through our parish. I think when I looked through there, I don't remember the total, but it was more tonnage than we would ever think. When you stood up by all the material, it would swallow you 10 times, you know. And so I would say that we've done a very good job from that particular project. I will also mention that we've done Clay Cut Bayou under the American Rescue Act funds that the mayor was able to help us to get, which is very, very important. We've gotten that all the way from Amite River all the way up to Florinale. All that's been cleared and snagged, which is some of the areas that around the airline highway had a lot of problems with residential flooding. I think this is going to be a big plus also from that perspective. We also did Elbow Bayou, the section from, I guess, Brightside all the way back to the major outfall that goes to Bayou Fountain. That's been cleared and snagged. In fact, you'll find a little more out about all our presentations that we have at the next meeting we have on Saturday to talk about those particular projects and what the real benefit is. Just as important, just cleaning your outfall, the drains from the pipe to actually to the outfall. Those things have happened working with Mr. Brumfield and his group. We also had contract people doing some work. We have spent a lot of time and effort. Are we where we need to be? No, not yet, but we're making a lot of progress. I think most people from the rain events that we've seen, including the one we just had, we didn't have a whole lot of complaints about drainage. Now, there may have been some street flooding. Street flooding is reality. It does happen. It's part of the drainage system. It will go into those drain boxes. If those drain boxes are not working, that's when you would call 311, and then we will get people out there to get that addressed. That
You mentioned, I mean, we did have between 4 and 5 inches of rain last week in Baton Rouge.
Right.
And obviously, people probably did call 311. Have all those requests been attended to?
I wouldn't say all, but I know that we looked at, from a priority standpoint, we look at those when they come in. Certainly that would be something Mr. Brumfield probably would answer. In fact, I'm going to let Mr. Brumfield answer that.
Good morning. Thank you. What we do is we prioritize all of our services on safety, liability, and we also have a lot of requests from our council members that we insert because they represent the individuals in their district. So from that standpoint, all of the requests get inspected. Every week we inspect all the new requests that came in, and then based on those inspections and council members' requests, we prioritize our schedules.
I want to just mention 2 other channels, which in my opinion is very, very important. The clearing and snagging of Comet River, which goes all the way up to Highway 64 and comes out right there at where it ties into the Amite, right there by the interstate. Well, also just as important, we've done working with Livingston Parish. We've been working clearing and snagging most of the Amite River. In fact, we almost finished. We're on the section from Florida Boulevard going south. We got about maybe a half a mile left to be cleared and snagged. We'll see what happens after the rain event, what comes to that location. But I think there's a lot of plus from a drainage aspect that when you look at your outfalls, that's where it all got to go to. And to me, we have spent a lot of time and effort to address that. And I think it will be a benefit. And that all depends on the type of rain event we may have. And quite frankly, depending on how much wind we get from a puncher train, which will go back into Marpaw, which may slow down some of our channels draining, but it won't be because there's material sitting in it, because that's been addressed.
I feel led to add something to what Reginald said, Brittany. I hope you heard what he said about the prioritization, because usually there's always someone who will speak out and say, I haven't heard from 311, but I think he was very clear in talking about the safety and all of the other criteria that go into responding, and his weekly focus on those 311 calls. Any other questions?
Any plans for potential emergency shelters to open or anything like that as we get closer to the storm event?
So, you know, we always stand ready to open shelters as needed. And we will announce those openings in coordination with MOSEP, our local and state partners, and of course our stakeholders if it is required that we do so. And so opening shelters is a very significant response that we have to do. So we have to certainly be in coordination. And of course, if there is widespread power outages and other conditions that require people to leave their homes, that is one of the motivators for setting up a shelter. But we will certainly be ready to do that as needed.
Another thing people were worried about with Hurricane Ida was long gas lines and having an issue trying to fill up cars, generators. Anything in place or any thoughts on that to remind people about now?
Well, I'm going to ask Chief, you can respond to that.
Sure. So your concerns are the delay of getting fuel, right? That's what one of the men mentioned earlier was go ahead and get fuel now. Fuel up your vehicles now. Try to stay home. Try to stay off the roadways until this storm passes is what we want to encourage the citizens to do of this parish.
Well, I want to thank you all for coming out expeditiously this morning, and we look forward to keeping the lines of communication open with all of you all so you can help inform our public.
You
Thank
just
you so
listened
much.
to the first update here from MOSEP, the Mayor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness in EBR Parish. The first update on now Tropical Storm Francine. To kind of recap here, if you caught this maybe halfway through, the mayor now asking residents to prepare, take a proactive approach here. Look, we've been focusing on the forecast saying today, tomorrow, largely going to be nice days. So do not wait until tomorrow. You want to get those preparations done today. A couple of the key points, she's asking folks to create that disaster supply kit. Only you know what you and your family will best need, and think about your kids, think about your pets, whatever they would need as well. So start thinking about that list of what you may need to put together, and that may include medication. You heard the director there of emergency medical services also talk about getting the prescriptions that you may need. Again, while the weather is good today, it's going to be a good time to maybe pick up an extra prescription. Think about the next 72 hours. Along with that, think about the food and the water and any other supplies you may need while you get this plan together. A good idea is to have this conversation with your family as well. Think about what you're going to do come Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, right? 72 hours, maybe even beyond that. Think about what your children may need to get that plan together. Potentially also have that plan of knowing where to go, creating some of those routes in case evacuations will be necessary. Again, this is all early, but it's good to just have a plan while we watch the storm and to see what it does here. We also got an update from Fred Rayford, the Department of Transportation there and Drainage in EBR Parish. He's saying they've done a lot of canal cleaning in EBR Parish, and today he says crews are going to be looking at the channels to make sure that there isn't a big problem leading up to Wednesday, but he is asking folks to do some work at home today. If you're out and about, take a scan of your yard, take a scan of your street, see what debris may be outlying there that you can pick up ahead of time. Trash is coming up, trash pickup is coming up today and tomorrow for a lot of folks, so keep that in mind as well, right? When you have those bins and trash and recycling comes to pick that up, go ahead and bring those bins in as soon as it is picked up. All of these things are going to help collectively mitigate some of the debris that may be out and about, so do what you can, including having that plan ready. We also heard from the Baton Rouge Fire Department, Chief Michael Kimball, and BRPD Chief TJ Morse about what you can do as well. They are making sure that you know all of the resources that are ready. You've got EMS, they've got some additional units that will be on standby and ready to be deployed when the time comes for it. Now, Chief Morse hit a really important point here. Keep the number 311 in your phone, right? When it comes to emergencies, we do not want to tie up those lines when it comes to real emergencies for 911. So if you are doing a scan of your yard, maybe you're doing an assessment of things you may need, if you see any debris, major debris blocking a canal, or maybe you see a tree blocking a road or something like that, 311 is going to be the best number to call to make sure that gets taken care of ahead of time before Wednesday. So remember, 311 for non-emergencies and 911. We want to make sure that that line is free and clear for any emergency that may come our way. A lot of time still left before Wednesday as we continue to watch this track here, watch this develop, that latest track coming out from the National Hurricane Center at 10 o'clock. Come back and join our team here at noon. Jeff Morrow will have the latest for you here, updating as we continue to watch Tropical Storm Francine. Make sure you have our 9 News app and our weather app downloaded as well, the best free resources you can have as we continue to watch and wait and see what this is. We're all about preparing you together. Come back and join us here at noon.